This message is coming through very strongly for ancient souls that have been on the 5D Ascension timeline for over 13 years, 14 years, right? So at least a decade, possibly two. You are a trailblazer. You have been alchemizing and transmuting a lot of denser energies, not only your own karmic density, but also the collective shadow for a long time. And your old earth mission has ended. You now have a new assignment as we move forward into new earth frequency. And your new assignment is to be authentically you, playing and creating in the 5D. Yes, you get to rest. You get to enter an era of renewal and prosperity and receiving. There are a lot of waves moving into new earth frequency, and there are a lot of souls incarnating now on planet Earth that don't carry the same karmic density. They're already coming in aware of the truth of who and what they are. They're not easily swayed by systems and fear-based programming or conditioning that compartmentalizes them or keeps them in a place of disempowerment. And so you have been a trailblazer. You have paved the path. It is the work that you have done for the collective for a long time that has made this possible for humanity, for the collective waves that are going to be moving into new earth frequency, and for now the souls that are incarnating and have incarnated more recently on planet Earth in order to continue to build new earth. And the message that's coming through is you've likely been feeling like everything that you've been doing, everything that you've been alchemizing, everything that you've been transmuting has gone unnoticed by the divine. And this isn't like there's some like God sitting up there that's like judging, right? This is on a soul level, the infinite intelligence, whatever you want to refer to it as, the divine intelligence, the soul, which is also still rooted in separation consciousness, to be honest. So the soul is an individuated expression of the one. And then you can think of the human as a denser reality for that soul. So it's like an extension. Ultimately, though, all roads lead back home to the one divine expressing. And the one divine expressing is playing a very big game right now through all of us. And we all have our own roles to play. And if you are listening to this, it's because you are an ancient soul and you incarnated here on planet Earth at this time in order to elevate and uplift humanity. And your old world role of being, let's say, a teacher, a healer, a guide, and going through a lot of your own karmic density is over. You are ending that era. You are entering now an era of divine prosperity, ease, grace, overflow. You get to now reap the rewards, so to speak, of every faith-driven moment over the course of your life where you have been fully in devotion to what you came here to do and what you came here to be. And none of it has gone, for lack of a better word, unnoticed, right? None of it has been in vain. None of it has been a waste. You have been purging and purifying a lot of karmic density and the collective shadow, things that are not even quote unquote yours, but in a sense it is yours because we're all connected. And there is, from that standpoint, but you have been holding the line, so to speak. And you may have felt this. You may have felt hidden in plain sight. You may have felt forgotten. You may have felt left behind. You may have felt that everything that you've been growing through, purging and purifying didn't have a higher purpose, didn't have a collective contribution in the way that you already know in your heart is true. And so this message is just confirmation, if you feel you want that nothing has been an accident, and everything that you have been growing through and evolving through and purging and purifying has all served a much higher purpose. It's way beyond the human that you have thought yourself to be. And I know I'm speaking to a soul who has been abiding in divine presence. You know you're not this human body. You know you're not the mind-body vehicle. You know you're not the conditioning, the patterns. You're none of those things, and simultaneously you're everything. So there's that paradox. But you can't help but answer the calling on your heart. I'm speaking to, call us starseeds, whatever, chosen ones, the ones that chose to be here currently in this time-space reality at this pivotal point in humanity, to be able to uplift humanity through your frequency and through your sacred embodiment. And this doesn't make you better. It's not a hierarchy. It's just every soul is playing their role. And this is what you chose. And not every soul is here to wake up, quote unquote, wake up. You're not even really asleep, because you always are here. You're always here. You're just pretending to be asleep. The divine is pretending to be asleep until it no longer does. And then you begin to what feels like or appears as an awakening. But ultimately, the joke is that you see very clearly that you've always been here and awake, and it's not an adding to, you're not becoming more awakened or aware. It's everything's being removed that was an illusion, which when everything that's being removed that was an illusion is cleared and released and seen through, so to speak, what's left is the truth of who and what you are, which is unnameable, unknowable, this undefinable presence here and now, your conscious presence. You, the you that you thought you were, is the old separate identity, and I know you are aware of this. And right now, this is the reason that I was urged to hit record right now, is because the old identity structure needs to fully crumble. And right now, at the time of this recording, it is February something 2026. We're rounding out the end of the month, and we're moving into another eclipse season at the beginning of March, and then we're moving into towards 3/4 of the way through the spring equinox. And don't ask me how I know this. If you have to ask, how do I know this channel is probably not for you, because this is a deep soul knowing, and you know that deep soul knowing doesn't use logic, right? It's a deep soul knowing, just like you have always known that you're here to do something big. That may not have been clear, but you have always known that. So right now, you are being guided to fully surrender and let go of the old identity. And that isn't happening naturally as we move through the next several weeks, because the new infrastructure is coming online. It's stabilizing your new earth role, right? So mission complete from your old role as a teacher, as a healer, as a guide, as a coach. And you may still do those things, so to speak, but it's not the same way anymore. Like, you don't have to carry the density anymore. You don't have to play any of those roles anymore. Your new earth role, as we move into stabilizing this new infrastructure as a builder of new earth, as a new earth human, is for you to be fully present here and now, playing and creating in the 5D. And it's going to look completely different from how you have structured your life, or how you have earned, or how you have showed up, or how you have lived in the old paradigm. It's going to be a complete restructuring in big ways and little ways. The old identity, everything associated with it, the performance identity, the one that had to prove your worth or show up in certain ways, like all of that is falling away. in order for your new earth mission to fully take bloom, right? Like you have a brand new assignment as a new earth builder and a new earth human, and you are here to lead. You are actually going first. That's why you're listening to this. You may be listening to this several years from now, from the time that this is being recorded in February 2026. And so there may already be waves ahead of you that you have been seeing as a sacred mirror. So just know that this is a timeless message, and it's also very timely. Like pretty much all of my messages, I'm always speaking to the leading edge, the new earth humans at the leading edge, at the tipping point, the trailblazers of new earth, the builders of new earth. And it's also a timeless message for those waves that are going to be moving into new earth frequency that are still coming, right? They're going through the purification and the purging and everything right now. And so regardless of where you are at, if you're listening to this and it's resonating, it's because you are on this ascension timeline and it's resonating, whether you're moving into this right now or it's coming. Yes, I know I'm referring to linear time right now, but in human time right now, there is a way of stepping into new earth frequency and fully embodying their divinity right now as we move into the spring equinox. And there are the new earth leaders that are literally being assigned a whole new blueprint, a whole new mission for their life, and how it's and what they're here to, how they're here to offer and be a channel and be a living transmission of this embodied divinity that you are living as, right? And so you're being asked to release, let go, surrender all of the concepts of how this is supposed to play out, the identity that's been clinging to the old infrastructure, and fully move into the unknown, heart leading and following the curiosity, following the inner knowing. And so I hope this is resonating, because this is actually a very timely, urgent message for all starseeds and new earth leaders that are here to anchor in new earth frequency. Not everyone that listens to this message, this transmission, will be a fit for this right now. And that's because they are not anchored yet in divine coherence, in their 0 point frequency, right? They're not operating from who and what they truly are, and they're still clinging to old identities and fear-based programming and giving their power away or self-abandoning in some way. And that is not to point fingers at anyone, because it's part of the process of purification and purging and coming into what you have always been, which is whole, healed, and complete, divinely worthy, divinely abundant. And now, if you're listening to this and you've been through the muck and you've been through those phases, which, by the way, you have now made quite a bit easier for other waves moving forward because of the density you have cleared as a trailblazer. If you are the trailblazer leading this as a new earth human, you are now entering this era of divine overflow, prosperity, getting paid to be you, fully, authentically, divinely, magically expressed as you. No performance identity, no needing to be a certain way. You're going to end up restructuring a lot moving forward, but the new clarity around your new assignment is going to come in crystally clear as we move into March, especially like as we move into the spring equinox. So the new infrastructure is assembling underneath your feet as you walk it. The last crumbling of the old infrastructure where you're clinging to old identities is falling away. Allow yourself to surrender and let go. And I know that sounds very like you can actually do that, right? You can't even actually force that, because the one that's trying to force surrender is not surrendering, right? So it's really just a coming home to presence and to the truth of what you know in your heart, and being that. This is a being, like you being that knowing. And that releases all tension around this. This releases all resistance around it, right? It's a surrendering. It's a final exhale is what's coming through. A final exhale after a very long, tumultuous journey. Give yourself the space to finally exhale. spend a lot of time in solitude in the next few weeks, just surrendering, just breathing, just being present. Find time in nature. Sorry, I know I feel like my voice sounds terrible right now, and now I know exactly why I was guided, or why I created this being sick a little bit, right? It is truly because I'm meant to be resting right now. I'm meant to be resting and integrating right now. I'm meant to be taking it slow right now. Things are going to pick up very fast, but this is a time of deep integration. This is a time of surrendering and letting go, and not forcing, over efforting, working. And that may not make sense to the logical mind. You still got to do whatever you got to do in your day to day, but there's time that needs to be carved out for your human to be able to fully acclimate to the frequencies that are going to be coming in over the next few weeks. I can't stress this enough. Grounding and anchoring into the body right now is going to allow for this expansion to take place naturally, with ease and flow, right? Your nervous system and just being able to ground and be open to receive requires you to be here, present, grounded, in the flow, being in nature, taking that time for yourself. And if you don't do it intentionally, the universe will figure out a way for you to do it, even if it has to make you sick, right? So take the time to integrate right now what's coming up, and recognize where you're still clinging to any outdated identity, performance identity, any place you're still seeking validation, security, approval outside of yourself, any place you're still making decisions that are self-abandoning decisions where you're giving your power away, and come home to the truth of what you already know to be true. Come home to the truth of what you already know to be true. Okay? Take the time to go inward. Be in your body. Be in your body. Your body needs to be able to anchor the frequency that is coming in for you. I can't state this enough. The frequency that's coming in needs to be fully embodied, right? So this is what wants to come through. I am going to leave it at that. And if this resonated, please leave me a comment wherever you're listening to this. And if you want support on this journey, wherever you're at, whatever stage you're in right now, you can still get access to Embody the Empress, which is my membership with weekly calls. So if these transmissions resonate with you, then you can hop on calls with me every single week, where I hold sacred space grounded in 5D frequency, in order for you to be mirrored in that way. And yeah, if that resonates, you can check it out and let me know. If you have any questions, you can always message me on Instagram. So that being said, I'm going to end it here, and until next time, I hope this finds you well. Namaste.